Welcome back. I'm Elder Hal, and I'm a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ here in Ascension, here in Chihuahua. And I'm coming up on my last week of my third transfer in Ascension. So there is a high likelihood that I'll be heading out, and I just wanted to give a good ode to Ascension. Good, pay my respects, you know. So we have come out here in the absolute desert, and there's nothing out here. I've been in the middle of nowhere for a bit, but now we really are. No escaping it at this point. It's been about 3 weeks since my last video, which is usually my normal schedule, but man, it flew by. Third P-Day always comes around, I'm like, man, I gotta record another video for all my fans, but I know you guys love me, I know you guys love the content, so, you know, I gotta do it for you guys. Finishing up my first cycle as a trainer with Elder Lopez. It's just getting better and better every day. I think he's doing great. He's starting to fall in love with the work, just like we have here. Because it's really hard to start a mission. I've felt all those feelings before too. And I think because I'm still such a new missionary, I've had that extra empathy and sympathy for him as we start a mission. But Elder Lopez is doing well. He steals my pen sometimes, but that's all right. And his phone did break this week. He was just biking and with his phone in his suit pocket or something, who knows, and it fell out onto the street. And you know, I didn't actually see any of this happen, and this is how he tells the story, but who knows how it happened. But he says a truck ran right over it, and you know, it's probably true because it is destroyed. So he has seen cell phone for a little bit. I'm trying to figure it out. In other news, it's been raining a lot here. Today's a beautiful day for P-Day. Beautiful nature, beautiful sky, beautiful clouds. But the last 3 days have been raining a lot, which is normally, you know, something different, something fun. But everywhere else in my mission, in Juarez, in Casas Grandes, everywhere except for my district, got snow. I'm like, what are we doing, man? Freaking Juarez looks like a beautiful winter wonderland, and I'm stuck here in Ascension with my desert, as you can see behind me. But there's been a lot of mud lately and a lot of rain. And because there was a lot of rain, people don't usually like to answer the doors to a bunch of muddy missionaries. So on Thursday this week, I had a different idea. I'm like, I woke up and it was storming, and I'm like, I don't want to go out there and work. I don't want to go out there and try to get into houses. So for the morning, we didn't have any confirmed appointments, and I had this grand idea, and I asked my leaders if it was okay, and they're like, do it, hágalo, Elder Hal. So me and my comp, we bought a bunch of cookies, about 400 pesos worth of cookie mix and butter and eggs and all this stuff. And we headed to the church, and for just 2 hours, we just made cookies. And I told my family that I felt a little bit like a sister missionary, which is no hate to you guys, but I've never baked cookies before. It was freaking awesome, and had a blast. We did that in the morning, had lunch, and then the skies cleared up a little bit, and we went out there and we just got to work. We started giving cookies to everyone. And this is probably why the sister missionaries have so much more success than we do. Because they freaking are giving out their joy, you know. Better than scriptures, right, is what you can taste. No, I'm just kidding. We paired it with both. And sometimes in this work, it's so hard to see the fruits of your labors. And you're sharing messages of joy. But sometimes they don't accept the joy. But they always accept the cookies. So we had lots of friends in teaching. And lots of families with members and non-members that we've been trying to get in contact with, and it was super good because everyone was so grateful for the cookies we gave them, and it was a good day of work, and I think the fruits of our labors paid off because some people who never came to church before came to church on Sunday. We're going to keep trying to work with them. In other news, last week we had me and Elder Lopez helped our first friend in teaching to the waters of baptism, helped our friend America make her first covenant with God, and it was really special, it was really sweet, and it was very, very stressful for missionaries like us, just trying to get everything organized. It was pretty tricky that week, but made it happen, everything went well, and trying to continue on there and keep on building her faith in Christ and keep her coming to church. She came to church again yesterday, so lots of good things happening here in Ascension. In other news, today is El Dia de P-Day, Dia de Preparación. And usually we don't do anything on P-Day because we live in Ascension, Mexico, and there isn't anything to do. And there still isn't, as you might be able to see. But just yesterday we were talking with some of the members, actually the other elders were, and we heard these whispers about these old Mormon graveyard outside of Ascension. Like, what's that? So we did a little research on the church computer, and we couldn't find a lot, but we did find a little point on Google Maps, and we're like, let's go explore it, you know. So this morning we left. We're by like 45 minutes. I'll be honest, my companions and my district is working a little slowly for my liking. And I've got the worst bike, but we made it out here, and it's just crazy to see that. One, we're just in the middle of nowhere, but right here there's about 2 or 3, 4 tombstones from these pioneers from Utah, and they all say born in Utah, born in Idaho, died here in Colonia Diaz. And actually all the people with the gravestones died really young, in the 1890s, and the latest one is in the year 1900. And after that there's nothing else. So I think what happened is there's a little colony here, just people trying to do their best to be saints, and people were dying, and eventually it failed because there's nothing else here. So I don't know where the other people went. It's something I want to pursue a little more and figure out the history. But these saints were just trying their best to follow God in whatever way they can. Here in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert, in the middle of freaking the abyss, right? And they failed, but they didn't quit, right? Because there's a beautiful gravestone there that clearly mattered to someone, and is chiseled with all the names and all their birth dates. And there's an abandoned church building over there that was probably used 120 years ago, but they failed. And they had to leave. I don't know where they left. Probably to Casas Grandes, a couple hours that way, or maybe back to Utah. And it got me thinking that sometimes we fail in this life, right? But they didn't give up. And I don't know their story, but I think they're still saints, you know? And just like their kids and the young adults that died young and were buried here in Colonia Diaz, they're going to go up and know that families are eternal forever. We've got a friend in teaching. One's named Pedro, and Pedro's got a little bit of, preocupaciones, a little bit of worries about baptism. And I was talking to our president during entrevistas, and we talk about that baptism is more than the number, or more than the actual ordinance or anything like that, or being a member of the church. What it really is entering into that door and coming back to our Father, right? Because we're all basically away from casa. We're away from home in this world. And baptism is that first step that we can take to go back to Him, right? And I know that whoever here is in Colonia Diaz, who got buried here 120 years ago, went back and is trying their best to be saints again today. I got a testimony of that plan of salvation, and whoever's buried here in the middle of nowhere, Mexico, and all that. This is the Chihuahua experience. All my missionary friends serving in Juarez or serving in Chihuahua City, y'all don't know Chihuahua like I do. Y'all don't know Mexico like I do.